my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about Masquerade and the Nameless Women. This is a mystery light novel written by A.G. Mikage, who I actually want to check out a different series that now I can't remember the name, but there's a separate series. I think it might be here. Yes, the Empty Box and Zeroth Maria, or maybe Mariah. I'm gonna go with like the more normal saying Maria. So there you go. So what is this light novel about? This is, I should say, marking my first, like, I guess, entry into my year of reading more light novels, giving light novels a bigger chance. So I picked this up last year. So this one follows a young police detective as she is really on a quest to capture a very well-known serial killer who killed her sister years ago, who is Masquerade. That's his code name that everybody refers to him as. And when the book opens, we actually find out who Masquerade actually is. And Masquerade is a big character in the book. So it opens with Masquerade looking upon a murdered victim and essentially saying how he's not responsible for this because the work is too shoddy and not like his, and he's all angered inside. And then he disappears, and then we meet Yuri. And then what follows is this very intricate woven plot with Yuri trying to discover the clues about, one, who the murder victim is, because as it turns out, the murder victim was a classmate of Yuri's, but then also who killed her. She and a, like, not really superior, maybe? I'm trying to think like how you say it, but a senior, there you go. A senior detective are investigating the crime, and of course Yuri is ready to pin it on Masquerade because there's so many things that matches. It's kind of gruesome, but the skinning of the face, the chopping off of one of her feet, just all presents itself as Masquerade. So Yuri is ready to seek out Masquerade and pin him down and get him for all the crimes that he's committed, whereas the senior detective says, I know this guy who can help with this case, and they go and see this psychiatrist, I can't remember which, I think he might be psychiatrist, who, like, on the side is like a detective as well. And this is not a spoiler, it's, like I said, right in the first page, this is also Masquerade, the real Masquerade. So when they get there and they meet him, they start going over the details of the case, and he essentially says how he's going to pin it on her father, the murder victim's father. And Yuri is kind of thrown by this. And I will say there's just a lot of like cross stories going on, and it's very bizarre because Reina's face was cut off. It is like, one, are you sure that this is actually Reina? Two, there's no pictures of Reina, and nobody seems to have a clear idea or way to verify that this is her. Nobody really remembers what she actually looked like. Even Yuri, who was her classmate and spoke to Reina, doesn't really remember her. And so all of these different pieces, the fact that there's no pictures, the fact that nobody can clearly remember who she is, the fact that we start meeting or being semi-introduced to other characters that have a similar appearance because Reina had a group of friends that they were also similar to one another, you start to question everything. Is this really Reina? Is it one of her friends? Was she murdered by Masquerade, or was she a victim of some other foul play in order to just get her out of the way? It was like very intriguing in that way, but also kind of frustrating because you're just getting different kind of speculation, but no real clues. You're not really given the real clues. It just keeps spinning these different speculative stories. Luckily, you do get a resolution by the end. You get told, presumably, what actually happened. So that's the one good thing, but it was kind of frustrating with all of the speculation and, you know, who is who, the crazy friend group. I mean, that was a little weird, but that is why it's the Nameless women, because they sort of became this weird entity, rather than their individualistic self. And I don't know, it was very intriguing. Hopefully the part about them being this, I think that's given right away, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything. Plus, literally, the book is titled that. It did intrigue me enough to where I would be willing to check out the other series, and probably will at some point. I do still have a huge backlog of light novels to read, so maybe not until after I get through them. But yeah, I found this to be very good. I'm trying to think about the other. I think I've only finished the one light novel. No, two. No, three. So far I've read Goth and The Pretty Boy Detective Club, Volume 1, and the Book Girl one, Volume 1. The one where, like, she's a goblin that eats books. And all of the ones that I've picked so far have been very varied in what they are thematically and genre-wise. So it's been a pretty good taste thus far, but I can't wait to get to some of the more fantasy light novels that I've picked up, because as a consumer of fantasy, I'm excited for that. But I will say, you know, if you're looking for something that's a little different than all of the isekai fantasy that has normally been put out as light novels, and maybe something that's a bit more grown up rather than the Pretty Boy Detective Club, which is again a mystery series and, you know, by a very famous light novel author. But if you're looking for something a bit more adult, with more gruesome scenes, Masquerade and the Nameless Women would be the way to go. I liked it. You know, was it my favorite book of the year? No, but it was good. It was a solid read. And I guess my final thoughts would be that I actually wouldn't mind a series, but one that followed Yuri and her detective work. I don't think you could do too much with the Masquerade character, other than if Masquerade appears in kind of the background in the role that he sort of served in this book. And maybe little clues came up that by the end of the series, Yuri worked out who Masquerade actually was. And then there's like the thought of, you know, capture or whatever. Which I guess maybe would be closer to like a Patterson-esque series. But I could see doing that, and I would read another novel where Yuri is detecting another crime. Sounds weird, but investigating another crime. Yeah, I would read that. I think that'd be kind of fun. I don't think there has been any. I don't think there's any plans to, because this book is a few years old. I bought this a little while ago, but this was released in 2017. Well, no, 2019 here. So yeah, I don't think there's been any other books with the same detective character, but I would totally be up for it. I really would not mind reading more in this world and following Yuri, because she was kind of a fun character to follow, and since she was a young detective, one, they kind of used her to dress up as a schoolgirl and kind of investigate crimes that could be happening around the schools. But two, she just has a lot of learning to do, like growth and development, that I think would make her a promising character to serialize. But I don't know, it hasn't happened, so Oh well. So that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.